You guys having a good time?
No pressure.
Yeah, no pressure. Wow. That's awesome. So, not just one chef, we get two chefs. So, I don't know if you remember last year we had Chef Clyde Tanner from the Art Institute of Tampa. And now we have the honor of having Chef Maiela Genco, who will be doing a sweet version of a pie. She'll be doing a Buccaneer peanut pie. She's a graduate of CIA. She's a Tampa native, and she comes from the kitchens of the famous Burns Steakhouse, their pastry kitchens. For the savory side, you have Chef Joaquin Alcacer. I was going to get it right, okay? You didn't give me time to get it right. He is actually an Art Institute alumni. He's been a chef for over 16 years. 7 of the last 16 years have been at the school teaching. And he's been a executive chef at Proper Kitchen and Cocktails in St. Petersburg, Florida. So, and he is going to be doing a Chardonnay pie. Pie for you. All right?
Ready?
Floor is yours.
Okay. So, it's called a Buccaneer peanut butter pie for a couple reasons. Every year, the Art Institute teams with the Tampa Bay Buccaneer rookies and brings them in for a boot camp, a cooking class boot camp. It's one day, they come into the kitchen, and we try to teach them how to cook.
Their wives will be very grateful.
Well, we'll see about that, because, you know, they're very, very all over the place and very young. But my department is desserts. I'm a pastry instructor at the Art Institute, and part of the goal is to get them to stay away from the sugar, stay away from the fat, and increase the good stuff. So I do these recipe hacks with some desserts, and this one I have found a great one. So in place of the cream cheese, I take Greek yogurt. You can do non-fat, you can do low-fat. But I strain it even more than what you get when you buy it from the store. So it's another couple days in a strainer with the coffee filter, sitting on top of a bowl so that it solidifies. And it gets to be like cream cheese. And it makes it much easier to combine than if it's just the plain Greek yogurt. It's not as liquidy. So what we'll do is we'll take the Greek yogurt, take about 5 ounces of the Greek yogurt, and we will combine it with some powdered sugar. I use about a half a cup, but you can go a little bit lighter if you'd like. It's up to you. I'm not going to go as much today, but I'm just going to combine that all together. It's going to get a little pasty and it's going to get thicker, which is fine because we want that consistency. The next ingredient that I'm going to add in there is peanut butter. I like to use a natural peanut butter versus like Peter Pan or Jif. I'll use a natural with honey or even just one that you make. But either way, you can use the natural, you can use the good old Peter Pan, the good old Jif, it's still very good. And what we're doing here is we're reducing the fat and increasing the protein by using the yogurt. And it gives them more of what they need versus what they don't need, as well as satisfying that sweet tooth that they have, because those boys do have big sweet tooths.
Oh, yes.
Yep. They want candy and all that good stuff, and they cannot eat that. So we're just combining it till it's all homogeneous. And just mix it up. And then we do use a little bit of regular fat, though. I'm not going to lie. I do use heavy cream for my sweetened whipped cream because part of it is having the satiety of the urge or the craving. If you don't have the satiety, you're going to keep on and keep on and keep on eating until you are satisfied, right? So this kind of kills 2 birds with 1 stone. So we have the mixture all there. Looks pretty good, huh? Now we're going to add our sweetened whipped cream, and the same thing. I don't go as heavy with the sugar, but it is powdered sugar. And you just fold that in, and it's really simple. I would say the only thing that's going to take the most amount of time on this recipe is the extra straining of the Greek yogurt. It's not going to, you don't want to do it the day of. You want to let it strain for a couple of days so that it does become a little bit more solid. So you just fold this in. And you got to use your arm muscles a little bit. But I do have a finished product right there. I do fold it into a graham cracker crust, basic graham cracker crust. You can use Oreo if you like, vanilla wafers. You don't even have to use a crust. You can pipe it into a container, like a parfait, and add some berries, so it could be a play on peanut butter and jelly. That also works. You can also freeze it, which is also good. Put it into a mold and freeze it. It's refreshing and it's a treat. You can eat the pie frozen. You can eat the pie at room temperature. Either way, it's good and it is satisfying. So here it's coming together a little bit more. Just have to work it so it's all homogeneous. You don't see any white streaks.
How much peanut butter did you put in?
I usually use about 1/3 of a cup.
Okay, small.
Yeah, it's 8-inch pie, 9-inch pie, it's fine.
Ma'am, do you have a print up of that?
I have a copy here, we can get it for you, or if you want me to read you the ingredients now.
No.
Our boss forgot to send all the information over. All right, so here we go. That's what it looks like, and it's literally this easy.
Can you flip it this
Sure,
way?
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's just like a regular old peanut butter pie, honestly. And it's really this simple. You can also use that Greek yogurt for chocolate. Any fruit purees, the same thing applies. I just replace the peanut butter with the fruit or the chocolate.
You mean like Chobani or?
Yeah, I used,
Why green?
it has more protein and less fluidity. So it's thicker, the consistency is
Yeah.
thicker, and straining it even more gives it more of a cream cheese consistency. And that's what we use for regular peanut butter pie is cream cheese. So in place of the high fat, we removed it and added, more protein. Okay. Here we go. You can also, in place of the heavy cream, you can use unsweetened coconut cream and whip it the same way that you would heavy cream. It goes ounce for ounce, the same measure and the same consistency. If you're not into using dairy, you can use coconut cream, and you can also use another alternative for Greek yogurt. You know, if you want to use a goat yogurt or soy or coconut.
Cottage cheese.
I don't know about cottage cheese, but you could give it a try. All right, so now we top it with a little chocolate sauce. Just,
And
Wow.
you wanna lick the spatula.
I know, I think.
just a little chocolate sauce. And then some peanuts.
That's protein.
And there you go. Simple as pie. Easy as pie. Peanut butter pie. Buccaneer peanut butter pie. So here it is. And we'll cut some up for you so you can sample it.
Angela, you went, can she lick that?
That's what I always do.
Mommy,
that.
the toppings, the peanut butter.
How is it? Is it decent enough? You want some more?
Hey, I'll try some.
Here, well, I'm gonna cut some up for you guys, but let me move out of the way for my.
That is delicious.
So now then you cook it?
Huh?
You cook
No,
it.
it's
No,
not.
it's not. There's no cooking to that other than the crust, the graham cracker crust.
And you can buy that.
Yeah, you could. You could buy that. So, and if you wanted to replace the butter in the graham cracker crust,
I'll get it off.
you can use coconut oil. Melt the coconut oil as if you were melting the butter and replace it ounce for ounce as well. It's very simple. So I'll cut some up for you guys to try if you like. We just get rid of this.
You don't
Here.
sit there.
I'll let you have it.
Well,
All right, yay! We did it! All right, we'll get that knife.
well, unfortunately, my pie isn't exactly as healthy in any way. Okay, I'm using some fat, some heavy cream in this. Okay, so if you are looking for a healthy version of a pot pie, I'm very sorry, you are not here at the right time. Okay, so what we're doing today is a chicken Chardonnay pot pie. So we have a variety of ingredients here that I've already started blanching, I've already diced and things of that nature. For one, I have some grilled chicken. You can use any chicken you want in pot pie, right? We've all used various types of chickens, baked chicken, grilled chicken, smoked chicken, it doesn't matter. Whatever tastes the most delicious. I use grilled chicken because it has a really nice, robust flavor, okay? And I'm also using oyster mushrooms. Now, this is one of the differences of this pot pie is that it's not just a regular chicken pot pie. You are going to have some mushrooms in it, okay? 90% of the time, you don't ever really see mushrooms in a pot pie. Oyster mushrooms are called oyster mushrooms simply due to the fact that they look like oysters when they grow, okay? So they have this little structure like this. They have a really robust flavor. They're not like your button mushrooms, your white button mushrooms. They have a little bit more of an umami flavoring, okay? So it's a lot more robust, a little more depth within that flavor profile, okay? Other things is some diced carrots, okay? Your peas, your potatoes, and the favorite part of it all is the shallots, okay? We're not using shallots or shallots. Okay, so we've got some minced shallots right here. Got the heat going on here. So the very first thing I have to do is actually saute my mushrooms, get in my carrots, add my shallots and potatoes. The potatoes have already been pre-blanched. Okay, so what I did with these, so that way they can cook during the full process of the baking. Okay, so that way they're not super hard and stiff once it's fully cooked. Okay, blanch these for about 2 to 3 minutes in blanching water. That way they're nice and tender when you actually eat them, okay? So we also have peas as well. All right, getting this heat nice going, add a little bit of fat to it. You want to add just enough fat to the bottom of your pan to coat the bottom of that pan. Okay, not a lot of fat. And now I will add my mushrooms. Okay? The reason that the mushrooms go in first is you want to get them a nice caramelized color. Caramelization actually adds a lot of depth of flavor to your product as well. Okay? So what is caramelization? That's the browning of the sugars, the natural sugars that are inside of product. Okay? So you want to just get that nice and brown. Okay? Now, mushrooms are a fungus. So what do funguses normally do? Grow.
They grow, of course, absolutely. You're absolutely correct. But what else do they do? They retain moisture, absolutely. What you're trying to do is actually extract some of that excess moisture. That way they can start the browning effect. Okay? So the mushrooms will actually absorb a little bit of that fat that you're using. I'm just using regular canola oil here. Nothing too expensive or too expansive. Okay? One thing that you must do all the time is season as you go. Now, I'm not talking about crazy amounts of salt and pepper. Just enough to barely season everything. The reason for that, especially with vegetables, is because you want them to actually absorb some of that salt. If you just add everything all right in and then season it at the very end, the vegetables aren't going to be very well seasoned. They're going to actually be kind of bland. Okay? So those are getting nice and brown. I think this thing turned off. It looks like it did. There it goes. Okay?
Pardon me?
Yes?
How much difference is there to making it with, say, red meats instead of chicken?
You can use any protein you would like. This is just a standard recipe. The biggest difference, obviously, like I said earlier, was there's going to be some Chardonnay wine in it. How many of you guys ever make a pot pie with Chardonnay wine? You do? Okay, one guy out of 20 in here. So we all know who likes to take on.
Contest pie.
Is it for like
All right, so they're getting nice and golden brown in here.
every few minutes,
Okay,
check.
let's take a look. You're
Check
going to
for
try to want to
freshness.
get those mushrooms nice and brown. All right, that's the biggest part of it all. Is you're adding that depth of flavor into them. Okay. Once that's done, I'm going to go ahead and add the carrots next. Now, the reason I'm adding the carrots is because of the hardiness. Obviously, carrots have a nice punch to them. All right? Carrots go in next. If you paid attention to the sizes, everything's virtually the same size. Okay? The reason for that is for the even cookingness of the product. If you start just chopping up, rough chopping everything's going to cook at a different rate. So you want things to cook at a similar rate, so you want to make sure that they are as evenly as possible. Okay? Now what I'm using is not black pepper, I'm actually using white pepper. You've got to be very, very, very careful with white pepper. Any of you guys ever use white pepper? It's very, very pungent, it's very potent. So
Too much of it can go a long way. Okay? Just start caramelizing my carrots just a little bit. Good thing, the magic of television, we do actually have smell-o-vision in here. So, that should be delicious. All right, so next will be my shallots, or shallots. I pretend like I'm British sometimes and call them shallots.
He's
That's
very
what they call them in England.
He's very fancy.
What's that? Shallots. Yes, ma'am. I'm just being silly and calling them shallots the way they do in England. They are in the lily family. They're within the onion family. So they're like onions, garlic.
Very potent
Very,
onions.
very potent onions. Yeah, they're kind of, the flavor profile is sort of, no onions? I think you'll love it in this way, I promise. No celery, I am not adding celery to it. The reason I don't add celery to this is because celery has a lot of excess water. And you're trying to actually reduce the excess moisture from this as you're going along. Now, if you also notice that I won't be using any milk. I'm pretty sure most of you use milk. The reason I'm using the cream is because of the excess fat. It's going to give it a lot of richness to the final product. Okay? I'm sorry?
Yes.
Yes, heavy cream. All right, go ahead and add my potatoes. Again, season those up just a little bit. I promise you, I won't kill you with the amount of salt and pepper I'm using. Okay?
You're not using it much.
No, I'm very, very sparingly sprinkling. Okay? My chicken has already been grilled, so I'm going to go ahead and add the chicken. Now, I'm not going to add the peas until the very, very end. Reason for that is you don't want them to smush, you don't want them to crush all inside of them. Okay? Get that heated through. Favorite part. Now, you can add as much or as little Chardonnay as you would like. Let's be real, we have to have a cup with us as
I was
well.
gonna say, you
So-
need to taste it to make sure the Chardonnay.
Correct, you have to make sure that it's tasty good as well, right? So any Chardonnay will do, but personally, if I were you, I wouldn't use anything you wouldn't drink. Now, don't go out and buy the little $2 bottle of Chardonnay wine. At least buy a decent quality Chardonnay that you would actually be willing to drink on your own. Okay? Gets that right in there. Just a little bit of Chardonnay. Not too much. All right? Now, you want that to actually reduce down. Okay? Make sure that that reduces down. The reason you want to reduce it down is not only is it going to help absorb into all the vegetables, okay, but it's also going to make sure that some of the alcohol content's actually breaking down and you won't get super drunk off of eating pot pie. Okay? Unless you're going that route, then by all means make it.
Then put more Chardonnay in there.
Dump the whole bottle.
Forget about putting it in.
Right. This is absolutely correct. Julia Child is very much an influence in this recipe.
No, I need to cook under the influence of wine.
This is absolutely true. You can also cook under the influence. Now, if you do that, I don't advise you to have an open flame.
Yeah.
Oh, so. All right. So, I've already actually blind baked my pie dough. Okay, it's just this basic American pie dough. Okay. It's already been blind baked. I'm not 100% worried that it kind of pressed it a little under. That's fine, because what I'm going to do is actually, once the filling is completely done, I'm going to put a topper right on it, and I'm going to vent it, okay? We all should know how to do that process, correct?
On a blind bake crust,
Correct.
I haven't done that.
You've never blind baked? Okay.
I blind bake, but I've never put a topper on after.
After you've blind baked. Gotcha. Well, it's actually, the reason you want to blind bake is you don't want to over saturate the dough, okay, at least on the bottom, all right? So if you add this with a raw dough, it's just going to saturate right into it. It's going to become very gummy and all that. You don't want that.
Oh my God, it's
burner's taking a little longer than what I was hoping.
I can't tell. It smells good.
Smells good? Awesome.
No, it doesn't smell really
Put
good.
an egg white on that without blank.
I'm sorry?
If you did it raw, but put, an egg white?
To put underneath before?
Yeah.
It could kind of help with the coverage, but it's just more of a fail-safe to just do a blind bake on it. Everyone in here is actually a part of the competition? Awesome. Who's going to win?
One of us in this room.
Awesome.
The winner is sitting in this room. Could be anyone.
Well, the best of luck to all of you, and hopefully one of you comes out the victor.
I'll be happy if I place.
Now, once the wine has reduced, then I will go ahead and add my heavy cream. Okay?
That's my sister.
And you just want to add just enough heavy cream
Troublemaker.
until it becomes reduced. So you want this to become nice and viscous. Now, unfortunately, I don't think this thing gets any hotter.
Water.
Now it's on. There you go. There you go. Now we just freeze it.
So there's no thickener in there, just.
No thickener. It's just the heavy cream, and you're going to reduce it down. Okay? You can do is before you add the wine and the heavy cream, what you can do is just add a little bit of flour, and that can act as a thickener. Okay? Normally, it's what you would consider a roux. Okay? So you would use the roux base first, and then add your white wine and your heavy cream. That way, it helps with the viscosity of it. But this, I'm just trying to reduce it down until it actually has its own natural viscosity.
Does look good.
It does.
I walked in there and I told everybody, I'm like, you guys need to go in that room.
Wow.
It's like, finally, like a smell that's different than the whole last 2 days.
It's a good thing we didn't do this before lunch.
Yeah.
Are you guys actually willing to try some of the pie?
Oh, absolutely.
I mean, if not, I can just take it back home with me to Tampa.
Well, of course.
It's all right.
It smells really good.
All right. Well, while this is taking a little bit longer than what I was hoping,
Hold on, did you have,
Go
did
ahead.
you start this with something with oysters?
oyster mushrooms.
Oyster mushrooms?
Yes, ma'am.
I stopped listening after oysters, I didn't hear the mushroom part, so
So-
I lost.
At least she's honest, right? This is the 8th demo of the day. She's done.
I thought it was some kind of oyster talking
No, no.
about pie. I
So,
was like,
this is an oyster mushroom.
This is
Oyster
better
mushrooms look
frozen.
exactly like
The original one was frozen, the one I had to show you, and then I made one, so it's better frozen, yeah.
How fast do you want me to go on this process? I'm going to go fast. You're the one with 2. Don't let me do it. Okay. She wants the spoon, now she wants a Chardonnay, right? Okay.
I know the good stuff.
Awesome.
J. Lord.
Okay, so this is taking a little bit longer than what I'm hoping. So, can I just go ahead and pretend like this is already viscous and
Yes.
thickened up and ready to go?
Absolutely.
Okay,
We'll let you fake it.
so now we are back into the Food Network world, then, where everything's fake.
All right.
I just want a sample.
No, we're going to get a sample. So I'm going to go ahead, what I'm going to do is actually just strain it out, but pretend like this is completely thickened and ready to go, okay? This will eventually thicken.
So you have potatoes there?
There's potatoes, there's carrots, there's peas. Oh, there's not peas. There's peas.
It'll happen to everybody.
It's the wine.
No spices. The spices come from the shallots.
Yeah.
Comes from all the vegetables. You don't really need any herbs for this. You can add them. You can add some thyme, you can add some rosemary, you can add some basil. That's perfectly fine. There's not a problem with that whatsoever. But I just like to keep it nice and simple and treat the vegetables for what they are. Okay? So now I have this pot pie nice and filled. Okay? I'm going to move over here just a little bit. Take your topping. Okay? Just put it right over. And yes, normally you kind of want to wait for that dough to, or that filling to cool. Just get it nice, covered, put your nice little crimps in it.
So you can make it the day before, too.
You can make it the day
Flavors
before,
can come,
absolutely.
You know, come together, sure.
Right, you can blind bake everything, you can make your dough ahead of time, all of that stuff can be done.
It still sticks to the blind bake crust, right?
Yes,
Okay,
I
never
personally
done
would
that.
say blind
Yeah,
bake.
none of us have ever.
Yeah, because
sounds like
I'm
you've never
thinking,
done
what is
that.
that black bake crust gonna break on him when he's doing that?
No, it's actually gonna work just perfectly fine.
I need to play with this technique.
Correct. Yes. Yes, you have the filling already made, put it in there, and then bake it the next day.
Hard
More than a blind.
Yeah.
Probably about what, 12 minutes?
About 12 to 15 minutes, yes ma'am.
Okay.
Hard bake. It's a hard bake.
Because I always blind bake partially my quiche crust.
Yes.
The same thing, you know, but yeah, you want that
Yep.
blind baked.
Alrighty, so now that that's done, all I want to do is give it a quick score. Oh, we got used for the top.
Use your wine key.
Sure can. All right, so all you need to do is take a nice little score on top. This is just to make sure that you are not you're allowing the steam to vent somewhere. Because if not, it's just going to pop up and it's just going to all splurge all the way out. All right? So this is, as you know, a very basic chicken chardonnay pot pie.